Hey everybody, what's up? Kevin here once again from the My Song of the Day Rock 2000 to Today YouTube channel. And today we are going to be reviewing an acoustic outing from one of my favorite bands. This is Breaking Benjamin and their acoustic album, Aurora. Alrighty, so for those of you who do not know how our album reviews work or are still new to this, let me give you the rundown. First, I'm going to give you a little bit of a background on Breaking Benjamin up to this point, kind of so we're all up to the same speed, and then we're ready to go full on into the interview. Then I'll be looking at the album on 3 specific types of categories to really give you a full feel of what it's like. I'll be taking a look at the composition and instrumentation of the songs. I'll also be looking at the vocal performance on the songs, and this will also include the multiple guest vocal features on these songs as well. And then I'm going to go and take a look at these songs and how they compare to the original, because 9 of these 10 songs are reimagined acoustic versions of their predecessors. Then I'll be rating the album on a scale of 0 to 10. 0 being getting a red form foot up your ass, and 10 being sitting in the circle with the people from That 70s Show. So enough of that, shall we get on with it? Get it on! Yeah, let's get it on. So taking a look at Breaking Benjamin before Aurora release, let's take a look back at 2018 when they released their previous full-length album, Ember, which came out on April 13th, 2018, and it came out to much critical acclaim, where it debuted at number 3 on the Billboard Top 200, and Loudwire ranked it number 6 of their albums of the year in 2018. Now, I also had it in my top 5 for 2018 as well. Now, I felt some of the songs felt a lot similar to each other. I still absolutely love the sound they went with on this album, and Red Cold River might just be my favorite song from the band because it hits so hard and I got a huge history with it. Now, leading into Aurora, late in 2018, Ben Burnley did announce that the band was working on something like this. So they're going to be doing acoustic reimaginings of a good number of their songs, and songs that include features as well from people like Spencer Chamberlain of Under Oath, Adam Gontier from 3 Days Grace Saint Sonio, and Lacey, Sturm, formerly of Flyleaf. And there's also a potential side project right now in the works between Ben Burnley and Lacey Sturm. So more on that, to be determined. That was kind of announced in 2019. But now going to Aurora, my early expectations are this is going to be something very interesting, because I have seen a good number of bands come out with acoustic albums or come out with acoustic reimaginings of their songs. And one band that has done that and done that incredibly well was in 2018 with the Ghost Note Symphonies from my favorite band, Rise Against. They took a lot of their punk rock songs, ended up stripping them down and doing these acoustic reimaginings, so the songs necessarily didn't sound the same as their predecessors. They had a lot of different feels to them, maybe tempo change, maybe type of instrument change. But in the end, I loved that whole entire album because it hit you just as hard, and the themes hit just as hard as well, in a completely different style without losing any integrity to the song. So taking a look at Aurora, I'm hoping it does the same, and we'll take a look-see. So let's go into it. Now we're going to jump into the composition and instrumentation on this album. Taking a look at it, the band on their Instagram page right when they released the album said it was going to be 9 reimaginings of classic songs plus 1 new song, Far Away, which we'll get into. But taking a look at the classic reimaginings, there's a major lack of reimagination here, and there's really barely anything that goes on there. If you take a listen to the songs, it sounds a lot more like an unplugged or just straight up acoustic version than a real reimagining, because I have seen them play live, and I have seen him do that acoustic unplugged set live, and I've heard some of these songs live as well. And what I heard live versus what I heard on this album, there is very little differentiation. And if you listen to the songs as well, you're going to hear a lot of the same things, and it's going to be like, wait, did they just do this unplugged? And the best example I can think of, when it comes to the opposite, again, like I said earlier, is Rise Against, where they really reimagined every single song. Whereas for Breaking Benjamin, a lot of the songs just sound a lot more acoustic and unplugged. The vocals and the vocal pattern that Ben Burnley uses are almost identical to what is going on further down the line. And there's more on that later and how it can potentially be a positive. But when you're trying to do a reimagination, it really does not do a lot of justice if you're going to keep that the same. The guitar playing is almost the same as well all throughout. There's very minimal additions in here when it comes to instrumentation that is used. And the drums, they pretty much use the exact same drum drum sound. I don't think they changed up anything from the original. And speaking of the drums, there's a good amount of songs where they use the double kick on the bass drum. And this is something that I had a huge issue with. And the reason I have a huge issue with is because when you're doing something acoustic, it's supposed to sound a little bit softer. It's supposed to sound a little bit, calmer versus that hard sound with the double kick. When you put the double kick in there, I gotta admit, at times it does seem like a good idea. However, on songs that they came up with here, like Red Cold River, Failure, and Torn in Two, it creates this gigantic inconsistency to the point where it sounds like this song is just trying to get unleashed and be ferocious, and the rest of the instrumentation really holds it back, so it's like a caged lion. It's rather inconsistent. It's something that really grinded my gears when I listened to this album, specifically on Red Cold River. It was just a huge irritation point for me. Taking a look at the one song that was new on this one, which was Far Away. This song was the only one that wasn't reimagined. This was a completely new song, and the intro of the song includes a piano that really makes it feel like you're going through something like Give Me a Sign gave you. You're really going into that kind of a motif, emotion, of feeling. And the agony throughout the whole song is built through that slower pace and that more classical instrumentation throughout the whole entire thing, and the use of the acoustic sounds on this one really paid off versus, again, what you did with Give Me a Sign, where it's a little bit more electronic with, standard instrumentation for the band. This one's more acoustic, and then they really were able to pull off that feel that Give Me a Sign gave, but a little bit more on a impactful level because you're using a softer tone to really pack that punch. And I absolutely really love this one because Breaking Benjamin is always one of those bands, whenever I'm feeling down or whenever I'm in a really bad state, I always listen to them because they always inspire me, whether it's to understand my emotions with a song like Far Away or Give Me a Sign, or blast through them and that I'm not going to be defeated, such as Red Cold River. Now, overall, I absolutely love this song. I love its inclusion. I love what they did, everything with it, and it could potentially be one of my top 10 favorite songs from the band as compared to the reimaginings. This one definitely stands above and beyond the rest. All right, now time to take a look at the vocal performance on Aurora. Let's take a look at Ben Burnley's vocals first before we jump into a couple of the guest features. Take a look at Ben Burnley's vocals. Like I said earlier, when they were going with a lot of the instrumentation and construction of the songs, there are a lot of unplugged and acoustic sounds, not much reimagining there. So a lot of the vocal performance, a lot of the vocal patterns used on these songs from Ben Burnley are almost identical to what you hear on the original recording. Now, again, this is something that, I wasn't liking in the instrumentation and composition of the whole entire song, but if you're going to have to go with it, I thought, what? Ben Burnley sounding the way he did was something that was truly amazing overall. And the reason I say that is because you listen to songs like Dance with the Devil where he's on there. You listen to songs such as So Cold. Take a listen to a song like Failure. What you're going to end up getting is you're going to hear songs that Ben Burnley doesn't sound like his voice ever changed. His voice is so consistent throughout the album, and it just shows that over the past 15, 20 years, Ben Burnley's vocals are one of the most consistent things in rock music. And I really got to give a lot of credit to him on that one as a vocalist because that just shows a lot of power to it. Taking a look at a couple of guest features, let's go into one. Adam Gontier of Saint Asonia on Dance with the Devil. Now, I knew the song was coming on there because Adam Gontier had performed this song live with Ben Burnley and Breaking Benjamin on their Unplugged tour in 2017 in Minnesota. And I absolutely love what they did here on this one. The reason is because they let Adam Gontier shine and really take control of the vocals overall to the point where he was doing a lot more solo vocals versus a duet with Ben Burnley, but the majority of it was Adam Gontier's sound. And the reason why I like that is because you got a contrast between the original Dance with the Devil and the Aurora version of Dance with the Devil. In the normal version of Dance with the Devil, you get Ben Burnley's vocals, which are deep and have this like depressive agony to them, which really don't hit you as hard right away, but it hits you so deep and so quick. I kind of compare it to a python trying to choke somebody. It's basically like it's going to hit you right away, but as time goes on, it's just going to keep getting more and more and more. Versus where Adam Gontier sounds, he sounds like it's going to hit you right away real quick, and it's going to be snap, and it's going to hit you hard, similar like, like a Cobra. And I thought about that because he's got that a little bit of a higher, raspier, more cry for help kind of vocals that he used on this track, similar to what he's used on older tracks from 3 Days Grace. And I thought that move was perfect to really give Dance with the Devil a little bit more of a reimagination than it had. Another guest vocalist was Scooter Ward for the song Far Away. And this one is where the vocal mix is completely and utterly beautiful. With the song all about feeling lost, you take a look at Scooter Ward's vocals and he provides more of this raspy vocal sound that are, those lost feelings that you can't kind of get and are clouding your judgment, versus Ben's vocals, which are cleaner and really have more of a comfort feeling to them when you're mixing between the two. And then mix that depressive angst and end up providing, like that kind of duet similar to the power that Give Me a Sign brings. So Scooter Ward's vocals on Far Away were fantastic. Let's take a look at one that I just couldn't stand, and this was Dear Agony and how they use Lacey Sturm's vocals. Now, this is no way a shot at Lacey Sturm's vocals on this one, because her vocals were just fine. They were as consistent as they've ever been. The problem was the usage of those vocals. And what I mean by that was, I remember listening to the song for the first time. Again, I was listening full blast in my car on the way to work, and I was excited for this one because I wanted to see how Lacey Sturm and Ben Burnley get a higher pitched female vocal, and then Ben Burnley's deep, angsty, depressive vocals to really, contrast each other. I was hoping for that, but what we ended up getting was a song where Ben Burnley was focused more on his vocals and sang pretty much throughout the whole entire thing, and Lacey Sturm's vocals were more of an accenting feature, to the point where they were overlapping each other a lot, and Ben Burnley's vocals were more powerful, so that really came through. I still remember listening the first time. I didn't think that Lacey Sturm was even on that track for a little bit. I listened to it with earbuds the second time, and I could hear a little bit better, but what really disappointed me about this was I wanted to see what they were going to do with Lacey Sturm and let her run loose like they did with Adam Gontier on Dance with the Devil. Let her have more control of the song to really get that pull and contrast between Ben's male vocals and Lacey's female vocals, because that contrast, I thought, would have been utterly beautiful. Instead, it was a lot of accenting vocals to try and basically up the profile and give a little bit more of a contrasting sound mixed in with Ben Burnley, but I didn't want it mixed in. I wanted it broken up, so it's like, Ben doing the first verse, maybe both of them doing parts of the chorus, then that second verse. Give it all to Lacey Sturm. I wanted to see something like that, but we barely got that. We only got 2 lines in the whole entire song where Lacey Sturm sat on her own, and I really, really didn't care for it at all, because again, this was a huge opportunity to really put something powerful together with a powerful female vocalist, and using her as an accenting vocalist in this one really rubbed me the wrong way. So of course, because these are songs that they have already come out with and they're kind of doing them as acoustic reimaginings, I have to take a look at a couple of them and compare them to the originals to really give you guys a vibe of what I was feeling about them and how they overtook each other. One in particular that I have to talk about is Red Cold River, because the unplugged version of the song really takes away a lot of that raw anger and emotion, that ferocity that you hear throughout the whole entire song of Red Cold River, and cages it up. But it kind of still tries to pull it out with that same hard drumming style as well. I mentioned earlier with the double kick, where it's like a lion being in the cage and trying to get out, but it can't. And you can hear it. It's ferocious, especially with the drumming when you're keeping up with that double kick and how hard it goes. The problem is the acoustic mastering of it pretty much harnesses it and pulls it back in. It doesn't let it out, and it really takes down the song. And they should not have messed with Red Cold River at all on this, had they been, if they were going with something like this. It really didn't do the song any justice. Angels Fall is another one where it started out like it was going to be kind of different reimagined, because you got some deep cellos in there, which really had me saying, okay, this is going to be awesome, because I love when they bring in the cellos or something like this, maybe those string instruments, violin, viola, cello, a big old bass, and I think it's something that could be fantastic. However, the song was powerful enough to, be on its own. Not only that, but it was powerful enough to have a construction where you could really do a whole-on acoustic reimagining, but they just did the unplugged style on this one. And it was such a bad move because, again, you have the opportunity to really turn into something like the Ghost Note Symphonies did, such as something like, what they did with a song like Wait For Me, or a song like Faint Resemblance, but they failed on this one. Never Again was the only song on the record where I thought that lesser reimagining actually ended up helping out a lot more, because it starts out with more of like a twangy acoustic guitar sound with some of those string instruments, specifically the violin, coming in quickly at the end to accent that intro. And I absolutely loved it because it really gave it just a little bit of a tweak, but that little bit of a tweak really came through full on here. There's no double kicks in the drums here too, which was awesome. And Ben's vocals overall don't change much compared to the original, which is all right, because this is one of those songs where reimagining that song would have really changed up the vocal pattern overall, and it just would have not done well. Again, this is this song only. Never Again. A lot of these other songs could have used it, but Never Again didn't necessarily use it because they kind of choke up that acoustic guitar and the breakdown, and it really helps amplify everything else within Ben Burnley's vocals as you go forward. So overall, I listened to this song, full blast in my car, and it hit me just as hard as the original. I swear I got shivers and goosebumps from listening to their acoustic reimagining or lack of reimagining from Never Again. Most of the songs, though, their lack of reimagination really fell flat and just didn't do much anything for the song, maybe hindered them a little bit more. Never Again was the only song I thought the lack of reimagination and kind of keeping it simple, yeah, that was the right call. Okay, time to give my overall rating on Aurora by Breaking Benjamin, and I'm going to give Aurora a 5 out of 10. So I'm giving Breaking Benjamin's Aurora for myself, disappointing 5 out of 10, but let's take a look at what I liked about this album. I've already spoken about Far Away and how it has basically become one of my top 10 favorite songs from the band because they're able to get that give me a sign feel and mentality on a song. It'll mix it with Scooter Ward's vocals as well to kind of give a little bit of a compare contrast with Ben's vocals, and overall it just hits harder than Give Me a Sign does because the acoustic rendering on it I think really works well. One of the other things I like about this album is the consistency of Ben Burnley's vocals with picking songs from over 15 plus years of their career. I mean, they didn't even do anything off of the original album, which I'd love to have, it would have been interesting to see, if they would have done Polyamorous. I'm glad they didn't though, because Polyamorous should stand on its own. But listening to his vocals and how they didn't change up very much, especially through songs like, Dance the Devil off the Phobia album, Dear Agony, Failure, and Torn in Two. You take a listen to those songs, his vocals sound identical to their original version, and that says a lot about Ben Burnley and his vocal performance as well. One other thing I liked about this is that some of the guest spots on these songs actually end up saving some of these songs in the long run. Let's take a look at Red Cold River, which featured Spencer Chamberlain of Under Oath. The mixture between their clean sound, where Ben having a deeper sound and Spencer Chamberlain having that higher pitched sound, really play off of their strengths very well. And the underlying instrumentation, they mix well together, where Ben's deeper vocals work well with the drumming and Spencer's vocals work well with the strings and the guitar work. Adam Gontier as well. I like this one. It saved Dance Level because they let him do most of it. They let him be unleashed on the track, and it gave the song more of that hard hitting right away instead of that deep gut punch. It was more like a punch to the face of that deep gut punch that you get on the original track. So you get it hit in a different way with it, and it's all based on Adam Gontier's vocal. Michael Barnes of Red is also another one because his higher pitched vocals on Failure give the song more of a hopeful tone versus the angsty from the original Ben Burnley track, which I like both of them, and similar to what Adam did with Dance the Devil, Michael Barnes did here. Michael Barnes did here. Now, I told you what I like about the album, but here's what I dislike about it. I spoke about it earlier, but it's the lack of reimagination. When you're saying you're going to reimagine some of these tracks in an acoustic setting, I'm thinking what Rise Against did, because Rise Against knocked it out of the park, where they took their songs, they deconstructed them, and they reconstructed them with an acoustic setting to give them a completely different feel overall without compromising the integrity of the song. And they both hit just as hard from the original to the acoustic reimagining. Breaking Benjamin failed to capture that. To the credit though, this is something that says a lot about Rise Against because of the fact that that is nowhere near an easy thing to do, and it says a lot. However, it just seemed like there was a lot of lack of that, and there wasn't a lot on there because there's not a lot of change in the instrumentation. The drumming was the exact same, the vocal pattern was the exact same. Take a listen to a song like Angels Fall, Red Cold River, and Torn in Two. You're not gonna feel that change at all. You're just gonna feel like it's an unplugged or acoustic version. One other thing I didn't like, it was the double kick in the drum, and I spoke about because they use a good amount of double kicks on a song like Red Cold River, where the original needs that double kick to let it be unleashed, but when you have the double kick on an acoustic one, it's like you're caging up a beast, and it creates this uneven angst throughout the whole entire song, and I just can't stand it. The biggest thing I dislike about this album was the Dear Agony Lacey Sturm feature, and it was because they didn't let Lacey Sturm loose with her vocals and let her just take over the song. They layered Ben Burnley's vocals and her vocals together a lot. They layered them over on top of one another. They combined them. And they never let Lacey really have her standalone moment on that track, which was a huge missed opportunity, because I would have loved to have seen that contrast between Ben's vocals and Lacey's vocals in separate entities on the same song, not combined and layered on top of one another. And it was just a big missed opportunity for the band. And now my final thought is, after hearing the incredible Ghost Note symphonies from Rise Against and hearing Breaking Benjamin do an acoustic and unplugged set live, I thought that Breaking Benjamin would have been another perfect band to do these acoustic reimaginings, given the fact of how powerful some of these songs are and how well they can work. Instead, Breaking Benjamin played incredibly safe and just did that acoustic unplugged instead of a lot of reimagining, and kept it at their minimum over some of their songs over the past 15-ish plus years. When the band shine in the new track Far Away, it shows the band still has that veracity to write those emotionally powerful and hard-hitting songs, so that has not changed. And the guest features usually worked well here, but the fact that there was a promise of reimagination and there was almost none of that, and how just disappointed I am with them not letting Lacey Sturm just go completely unhinged and loose with her vocals on Dear Agony, was something that really grinded my gears. Overall, a great number of these songs. The originals are far superior overall, because the originals have that original power and angst versus these reimagined acoustic renderings. And this isn't a bad album by really any means, but this is one where I'm incredibly disappointed in it, because it had so much of potential and it just played it too safe. Alright folks, that's it for me. Thank you for watching my review of Aurora by Breaking Benjamin here on the My Song They Rock 2000 YouTube channel. If you like the video, give me the like. If you dislike it, give me the dislike, but put in the comments why you like or dislike it. Now, if you're not subscribed to the channel, hit that subscribe button and the bell icon to be notified when I release videos every single Wednesday, and some special Monday ones if we have more than one album to review. Let's get those out of here. And please follow us on social media like Facebook. You're going to find out anything gets released. Twitter, you can talk to us. Instagram, that's our biggest one where you can talk to us. You're going to find out anytime anything gets released. All three, though, you're going to be able to get that 30-second preview for the Song of the Day feature. On Instagram, though, we do a lot more with you. We have our IGTV vlogs where we go behind the scenes every single Tuesday and tell you guys what we're planning on doing here. And our Instagram live streams every Wednesday at 9 p.m. Central. You can come talk to us. And TikTok, as well, we just do some fun stuff on there. Links for everything in the description below. Let's get those out here. Talk about the Chord Progression Podcast. It is our very own podcast where we do deep dives into the world of music and about the news, albums, concerts, anything you can imagine. And we also talk to certain bands, that are trying to get up and coming. And I will try and start talking to larger bands as well, and more smaller bands. And also, if you, the fans, want to talk about an album or something, or want to talk about something in music, just send us a DM, a message, whatever you can do. And we'll try and work with you to get you on the podcast. And we'll talk music all day, all night. You can listen on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, or you can watch the podcast episode right here on YouTube, on our YouTube channel. Now, let's do one more thing. Please enable our Amazon Alexa skill, because you can listen to the whole Song of the Day feature on there. And that's where you can, fall in love with the bands you used to fall in love with. You can discover new bands you didn't know exist. You can rediscover old songs you used to listen to all the time. You can discover new songs that have become your favorite. It's a great way to expand your rock music knowledge. And every single Saturday we feature a smaller band that's trying to make it big so that you guys can enjoy and get in the know with some of these bands first. So please subscribe to that, link in the description below. And I want to thank you guys for watching this video. We'll have plenty more to come through the rest of the year when it comes to album reviews. And that's it for me. This is Kevin from the My Song Day Rock 2000 YouTube channel. You guys know how I end the videos with the hat flip. Missed it again, but see ya!